I have to say I'm pretty impressed by what SHIB did over the last 24 hours. Of assets its size, it was actually one of the better performers, which is a very promising sign there. And SHIB actually just did something that we haven't seen since the early part of October. Could this be the big confirmation of our reversal? Will we maybe see some more red following this? I want to discuss all that and more in this video. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So yesterday was an interesting day for Shiba Inu. And why I'm saying that is just looking at our open versus our low. We were at a point where yesterday, compared to our open, SHIB was basically never down, which is a very promising sign. You don't tend to see a lot of those. That's a mega, we'll call it a mega bullish candle. Those don't tend to happen that often, especially coming off of a red candle day. But yet SHIB did this. It actually closed up 11.11%. If we look at other assets around similar size, SHIB right now up 9.34% over the last 24 hours. Apart from Polkadot and Litecoin, most other assets did not move that much. Near moved 30%. AI moved really big yet again. AI has been kind of the leader on this big rally that we've been seeing. But that's a great sign for SHIB. And the fact that now we close this daily candle above this 20-day moving average, that's a very promising sign as well. We actually haven't seen daily closes above there since all the way back in the early part of October. Now, obviously, that kind of got messed up because we had big tariff news. We had the big, largest black swan event in crypto history that actually made us see prices we haven't seen since basically the bear market, right? But what you were seeing here was good fundamentals continuing to show through. We have limited available Shiba Inu supply. What's interesting too is now SHIB has gotten to the point where it's almost turned this into a green week. We're down 0.98% for the week at the time of filming this video. But there is significantly less SHIB available on exchanges. So it's kind of been this fundamental continuation, if that makes sense, while prices have been basically sideways for the last, I don't know, 3 weeks or so, actually almost a month now. So now we're just waiting for the confirmation that this is, in fact, a breach, that we're going to start moving the opposite direction. Now, what's important here is, there are still bears that are betting against the market. All right, James Wynn and others have added to short positions. They're trying to be, sarcastic. Oh, are we going up or down on this chart? That's a chart that typically moves to the upside. We're retesting supports here. We're setting a higher low. I mean, it's a very promising sign. BTC dominance, that breakdown like we were talking about, we got to the bottom of our trend. I mean, you're witnessing in front of us altcoin confidence start to set in. Now, the only downside is, again, it's the weekend. Weekends tend to have lower volume. We don't have the institutional play. Now, that being said, institutional money did dump heading into the weekend, which was kind of a pain in the ass. And I think that actually limited a little bit of what we could have done, because BTC, although it did make a move to the upside, it wasn't making moves like other altcoins or like altcoins in the space. It was up 1.93%, didn't even set a higher high. Most alts set higher highs, as you can see. So that's where things differ just a little bit. Now, when we last look at the early part of the bull market cycle, we're now at this point where this 20-day moving average is down at basically early bull market, bear market levels. And so now we're kind of at this point, we're finally getting to this point where SHIB is kind of in these ranges of early 2024. And so it's a question of, where are we at here? Are we at this point where we've already gotten our wick down like in January of 2024, and we're starting to set these higher lows like late January? And will this in fact lead us to a moment where the market has a bit of a breakout? Possibly. We haven't gotten, major liquidations over the last 24 hours. It's been just a lot of spot FOMO, if that makes sense. A lot of people just chasing price currently. So we'll have to see how we hold up. We're still waiting for the conclusion of the government shutdown. If you missed my ADA video earlier today, they're still Republicans and Democrats are still at an impasse. They haven't really made much in terms of progress. It sounds like there is some communication going on behind closed doors. So maybe we can get a little bit of concessions over the course of the weekend, but we'll have to just watch and wait and see what happens. But this is a good start to a weekend. The biggest thing we need to make sure we don't see is people lose confidence, conviction falter, We saw this similar thing take place back in late August. If you guys don't remember, we had the rally on that Friday, August 22nd, following the Fed saying they're changing their policy or their approach when it comes to interest rate decreases. They're going to focus more on jobs data, less on inflation data. The market rallied. SHIB actually moved 8.13%. And then on the following Monday, we proceeded to just dump and erase basically all the gains that we had getting into the weekend. So, excuse me. But that's kind of where we're at right now. You see a lot of assets are in red. SHIB is currently barely in green by 0.5%. And we'll see what the day brings. The weekends can be unpredictable, but I think what would be very interesting is actually if we get kind of a Sunday rally off of this. I'd be very curious to see how the market decides to react. But that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you as always. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below. Do you think this will continue? Will we get rejected and come back down? But have a great day. Show your love. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.